FIFA President Sepp Blatter has decided to quit his post. Announcing his decision, Blatter said, "My mandate does not appear to be supported by everybody." FIFA will now elect the next president in December 2015 or March 2016.
The final whistle caught almost everyone by surprise as football strongman Sepp Blatter decided to step down from the position of FIFA's president, a decision that surely stunned the world of football.
Je chéris la FIFA plus que tout et je ne souhaite faire que le meilleur pour le football et pour notre institution, la FIFA. Bien que les membres de la FIFA m'aient conféré ce nouveau mandat,
Blatter had no doubt won the mandate, but he had lost the trust of the world. His decision followed a series of dramatic developments recently that shrouded the world of football into deep controversy. On the 27th of May, 6 top FIFA officials were taken into custody on charges of corruption. A day later, FIFA gave Blatter a clean chit on this matter. The following day, Blatter was elected as the president of football's governing body. 4 days later, there were allegations against FIFA Secretary General Jerome, which were shot down by FIFA again. And then European football's governing body, UEFA, threatened to break away and hold a clean World Cup in 2018. The writing was on the wall.
While the decision on timing of the extraordinary Congress and election of a new president will ultimately be up to the Executive Committee, the expectation is that this could take place any time from December of this year to March of next year.
FIFA will have a new president soon. However, there are still some unanswered questions. What is the next step for Sepp Blatter? He survived as president despite repeated accusations of corruption against his organization. So is there something dramatic behind the scene? What's next for FIFA? So far, FIFA's head of audit and compliance, Domenico Scala, has promised large-scale reform and said that nothing is off the table. What happens to the next two World Cups in 2018 and 2022? Both have been mired in controversy surrounding their bidding process. More importantly, will FIFA release US Attorney Michael Garcia's report into bidding process for both tournaments? The circumstances, controversies and scandal meant that Sepp Blatter was red-carded, perhaps to usher in better days for football that are green and clean. Sports Bureau, India Today.
Well, let's go straight across to our guest. Kunal, first I'll come to you. Definitely a big shock to the footballing fraternity, the world of sports. Blatter re-elected and just 3-4 days down the line he decides to resign. Why do you think that happened?
See, I think the signs of what had happened were clear in his body language over these 3 days. 3 days ago, you saw a victorious Sepp Blatter. The whole world was against him. UEFA threatened to, leave FIFA, and all sorts of things were going on. And, people were being arrested. But Sepp Blatter, after he won the election, exuded confidence. He seemed, his smile was there. And it was like, no matter who's against me, I know how to fix the system. I know how the elections work. And as long as, this entire mechanism is in place, which I've sort of mastered, nobody can touch me. What happened, when he resigned, you just saw from his body language, he was dejected, he was defeated. And I think, the US federal government, federal agencies stepping into the investigation, the fact that the payments were tracked down to his closest aides, and the fact that more revelations were bound to come out, sort of made him realize that if he remained as president of FIFA, things would become very difficult for him and for the body going forward. When he would have had to answer questions as FIFA president, it would have been different from him having to answer questions as a former president of FIFA who's now sitting out. I think he perhaps realized over the course of these 3 days that finally he had bitten more than he could chew.
Mihir, also with Blatter resigning, the next big question is who is going to take over as the next FIFA president? We've seen a lot of names. Obviously, the top contender seems to be Prince Ali and, of course, Michel Platini as well. But he's up for re-election as the UEFA president too. What do you think? Who are the people who are going to finally contest for that presidential post? It seems Mihir can't hear us. Arunava, I'll come to you. Obviously, Blatter had close relations with the Indian Football Federation. Do tell us how his stepping down affects India in case of world football.
Well, the big danger for India, of course, is that Blatter, since about 1995, when he first visited India as the General Secretary, told them to start the National League. He came back in 2007 as FIFA President. The I-League was started. We now have the Under-17 World Cup in 2017. FIFA has given India a special role in regard to allowing India to have the ISL in a special window, having 2 leagues in one calendar year. All of these things have happened because Blatter has always had a soft spot for India. And the danger is whoever comes after him might not have that, and India might not be on their priority list, and they might look at other parts of the world. And that is the danger for India and Indian football.
You know, in fact, the entire world football fraternity seems to be relieved with Sepp Blatter leaving the post of president of FIFA. Here are a few prominent reactions to his decision that stunned the world.
Well, first of all, I think that I'm very happy that the change happened. I cannot say anything any more than that. And I'm very happy for the support that I got from the FA in particular. And we need to work, and we need to work on the world to change the image of FIFA.
I think it's an important moment for all the key persons that are the federation associations to think a little bit and let the decision of Mr. Blatter to resign and think about the future of the organization, because it's a really important moment for that.
Oh, it's a very good day for football. You know, we needed change at FIFA, and this is the change we wanted. So we're a bit smug and delighted.
Ist die Entscheidung, die absolut richtig ist, die überfällig ist. Und es ist eigentlich eine Tragik, warum er sich selber und uns allen das nicht erspart hat, dass er das früher gemacht hätte. Denn das war erkennbar.
You know, Kunal, obviously the footballing fraternity seems to be supporting this decision, but what we all do want to know is who is going to be the next president. We've seen Platini's name come up, but he's up for re-election for the UEFA president post as well. Who do you think are the top contenders?
See, I think Prince Ali should have the inside track over Michel Platini right now. Platini had supported his claim for the FIFA presidentship, and you know, Platini runs European football, and he really enjoys doing that. You know, it's a relatively cleaner, easier, you know, federation to manage. The highest quality of football is played in Europe. So whether he is going to leave Europe to go to FIFA is a big question. See, I think the important takeaway from this is how, you know, sports federations, and we've seen it with the BCCI in India, you know, over time develop systems and mechanisms which are very easy to manipulate. So, you know, FIFA is a world body. Every, you know, country that is a member of FIFA has a right to vote. And the mastery with which Sepp Blatter had over the years taken a hold of all these different, you know, regions. So, you know, if you have a Guam and a Guyana, you don't need a Germany. Yeah, if you're talking about the G's, if you have, you know, so it's not about how important the country is to football. It's just, you know, having a mastery over how to manage the entire election process. I think he'd manage that. And, you know, even if somebody else comes in, I think football, you know, because it's a beautiful game, and the reason why everybody has supported it over the years, despite, you know, for the last 10 years, we've known that FIFA is corrupt, is because of how wonderful the game is and the kind of pleasure that it brings us. And it's time for whoever comes in and for FIFA to introspect and set better mechanisms in place so that such, you know, corruptions, you know, breaking the law, irregularities cannot go unchecked, you know, as part of a so-called democratic process.
You know, in fact, Arunava, it is quite surprising that the name of an Indian has come in the fray as well. The president of the US Soccer Federation, Sunil Gulati's name supposedly is being looked at as a potential contender for the presidential post. What is your take on that?
I personally know Sunil Gulati, and Sunil has done a lot for football in the United States. He was one of the key members and organizing the 1994 World Cup. Major League Soccer now is a massive success over there. But I think at the moment, with all the problems that there is in North America with CONCACAF, I doubt that a CONCACAF person will be running for that post. And it will be interesting also to see who all now will bring their name into this battle, because it will be very, very interesting to see where FIFA goes. Is the established football world going to be able to take charge of FIFA, or is someone like Al Sabah, who's just come into the FIFA Executive Committee from Kuwait, who's a very, very big, powerful power broker in the world of sports, maybe someone like him might come in and take over as FIFA president.
We'll have to see how that unfolds in the next few days. Arunava, thank you so much for joining us. Kunal, thank you for joining us in the studio out here.